Hello, welcome to this lecture video. I'm teacher Melai and let's talk about descriptive epidemiology. So in descriptive epidemiology, what are the important things that epidemiologists considered are the following. So they actually have five W's. So the what, so what is the health issue of concern? The who, so who are the persons involved? Where or the place? When or the time? Why and how? Is the causes, risk factors, and modes of transmission. So these are also the things that we can see in a news, isn't it? That when we are reading a news, as much as possible, we want that everything is reported. So it is the same with the five W's of descriptive epidemiology, as well as when we are conducting research. So we also need to consider all of these things. Okay, now, so what do epidemiologists do with the data gathered? So first, they look at the data and um, familiar, they familiarize themselves with the different data or the different cases. So they, of course, know that there are some limitations, just like when some of the data are missing, so they have to exclude that part. Second, so they have to learn the extent and pattern of the public health problem being investigated by considering, for instance, the cases in each month, the considering the group of people, the neighborhood. So what is the most number of cases? What is the least number of cases in what particular month, and all other things. And then third, they identify the areas or groups with high rates of disease for them to come up now with a clue to the different causes of disease. So let us go back with the time. So for the time, so this is the occurrence of disease, and we know that it changes over time. So it can be regular, it can be unpredictable, it can be anytime or even seasonal. So for example, in rainy season, so what are the diseases that we are expecting if it's rainy season? So because the weather is cold, so we have their colds, coughs, influenza, dengue, and others. And for any time, so we might also consider, for example, hepatitis. So this is a figure that is downloaded from the DOH site. It is the number of newly diagnosed HIV cases. So as you can see here, so from 2018 to 2020, they considered time. That's why we have here the data from January to December, and even the year from 2018, 2019 to 2020. So this can actually help them determine whether it is the cases is increasing or if it is decreasing. So we also have here another figure that shows also the case of the COVID cases, and this is considered per day. Another graph showing the same cases, so the coronavirus daily cases from March 22 to September 30. Okay. So in analyzing the data using time as an important factor or as important thing that they consider, so it can be that they consider a secular or long-term trends, which means they graph it annual based from annual cases. So example, if for instance they will try to graph the HIV cases, so they will consider 2018, 2019, and the cases in 2020, or they will still of course go back to other years. And then for seasonality, it can be that the analysis is done weekly or monthly. So they have also to provide or to show it using a tabular, or they can show this using a using a graph. wherein the x-axis is week or month. Or they can also consider the day of week and the time of day of the occurrence. Okay, next, let us also consider place. So this is the geographic extent of the problem and its geographic variation. Place is also important because it is where that the epidemiologists can identify and what particular place is the cases very high or very low, or in other words, it's identifying for the higher risk groups. So it can be determined through the places. So we have here a table that shows the places, or actually it's even by country, because we know that the case now of our pandemic or the coronavirus is really a big problem in the whole in the whole world. So we have here total cases, new cases, total deaths, new deaths, and also the given population for the different places. So it is where the epidemiologists can identify in which of the countries here, so which of the countries has a very high cases, just like, of course, the number one here in the list is USA. So even for the new cases, we have actually 4,362 compared with India, which is 2,667. And also, as you can see in the figure, it's also highlighted in the yellow in Mexico with 4,580. So which means highest new cases is Mexico, followed by, or it's not, it's Russia. It's 11,493 new cases, followed by Mexico, and then USA, and then India. And then for the new deaths, the highest is Mexico, followed by Russia, and then the USA. Or maybe it's a different uh, a different interpretation if we have the whole data, because this is just an excerpt of the data, so it's only from 1 to 9. So how about for the person? So this is the personal characteristics. So we, of course, or the epidemiologists in general, wanted to know the influence or the determinants. So they consider analysis of data by person. So it can be that they will consider inherent characteristics, biological characteristics, acquired characteristics, or activities. And the most common characteristics that they involve is age and sex. So this is the two most commonly analyzed person characteristics. So however, it is still depends on the disease of the data available and analysis of other persons available. So that is for descriptive epidemiology. Thank you for watching.